here we are at the last section, section 4. I'm just going to put a little 4 in a circle. We're still looking at chapter 1, but this is the last section of chapter 1 that we're going to look at together in this way. And this one has to do with the work of art. And in a work of art, you are going to have the subject. And the subject is, what can I easily identify? And then we have the composition. And that is, how are the elements organized? And the third thing is the content. What is the art saying? So let's look at a piece of art and see if we can figure these 3 things out in this piece of art. So let's go ahead and let's look at this. So this is on page 65. This is, it looks like a photograph of a real life person sitting here, but this is actually a sculpture. And it doesn't say, let's see, this is made out of bronze, oil paint, and mixed media, and it's life size. So Dwayne Hansen, who is the artist here, used bronze and oil paint and other media to create this sculpture. Pretty crazy. Looks super realistic. Now, this is called Traveler with Sunburn. So now, let's look at this and let's think, okay, maybe I can move this over here and we can say, what is the subject? What can we easily identify here? And you can easily identify this dude and his luggage. He looks like, you know, he maybe is some kind of tourist or something. He's got this Hawaiian shirt on and shorts and stuff like that. And, you know, he's got these bags. Now, this says with sunburn, so I'm assuming that maybe in real life he looks more red than he does in this book. But we'll think that that's probably the case. Now, the composition, how are the elements organized? So this is a part where you just say, okay, we've got this guy, he's sitting on the floor, he's leaning on his bags, and that's it. Now, there's also kind of this pattern from which the perspective that this was taken. There's kind of, you can kind of see how his arms and legs kind of crisscross each other. And so that's part of the composition. You can see these lines that are crisscrossing each other like that. And that's one way you can talk about the composition as well. And then the content. What is the art saying? So what is the art saying? It might be saying something as simple as, this guy is a tourist he's in the airport, he's waiting for his flight, or he just got done with vacation, and so he's maybe having a layover, or he's waiting for his ride home or something, he's sunburnt. And the artist might not be saying a whole lot, except for, you know, traveling is difficult, or this guy probably had a really good time on his vacation because he's asleep at the airport and he's worn out. You know, it could be a variety of things. We don't know for sure, but it's important to think about, what is this art saying? What is it saying to you in particular? And that's something that we're going to continue looking at throughout the year. All right. The last part of this fourth section of chapter 1 that we're going to look at is the credit line. The credit line. So the credit line, this is the list of important facts about the work of art. So here are the things that should be included in a credit line. 1, the name of the artist. The name of the artist should be included in the credit line. The title of the work. Should be included in the credit line. The year that the work was created. That should be included in the credit line. Some of the older works will say something like C1320, something like that. This C right here means it's circa, which means around or about, or approximately. It was created around this time. The medium. That's the type of media used. So medium, what was used by the artist. Two more things. The size of the work. And the location, the current location of the work. So let's look at a credit line real quick, and then we'll be done with this part of the lesson. So I'm going to look at, I already have my book open to this page, page 64, and I'm looking at this piece of art here on page 64. So we're going to look and see what we have on the credit line. So the credit line of all of these works in the book, they all have a credit line. And it is this part here that is the little bit smaller type with the smaller font and the thinner font here. So that's you'll see the credit line on all of these works of art in the book. So you can see we have the name of the artist, Hans Hofmann. We have the title of the work, Flowering Swamp. The year it was created, 1957. Now the medium used by the artist is oil on wood. So this was painted with oil paint on a wood board or wood plank or something like that. We have the medium used, and so the size of the work as well. A lot of times in the book they'll have the centimeters or the metric system measurements and the standard measurements, which would be inches or feet or whatever. So this particular work is 48 inches by 36 inches. So that's 4 feet by 3 feet. So that's a little over half of a door. Doors. Actually bigger than that. So if you have a tape measure at home, try to measure out 3 feet by 4 feet and see how big that is. This is a pretty big painting here. And then it also has the location of the work. So at the time of this book, this painting was located in the Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden, the Smithsonian Institution in Washington. And it also includes, this was a gift of the Joseph H. Hirshhorn Foundation in 1966. So this credit line included why or how this painting got to the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. So that is the credit line, and we talked about the work of art, and that is all of the notes for Chapter 1.